Hey everybody, it's RJ Stevenson and Archbishop Golfing here with me again. Hey sir, how you doing?
Fine. How you doing, Pastor?
Good, good, good. I am excited about this week's class. It's been a month, and so many people have been reaching out, impressed about what we shared in the last session, and they want us to come back and do it again. So this month we're coming together talking about effectively navigating, developing a hybrid ministry. Bishop Goffin, why is this topic so important for the kingdom right now?
Well, I think as the transition of the church, Pastor, as this transition of the church comes about, and you and I both understand trends and how the church needs to navigate through some things, um, whether the circumstances that's happened to our church in America, where we've gotten out of church buildings and been forced into the digital age, kicking and screaming. A lot of pastors didn't want to do it. A lot of them didn't want to be on social media. I've shared with people the online giving really prepared us for the digital. Actually, we are in dealing with eschatology, which is a study of last things. We're actually now getting to the place that we are really propagating the gospel into the entire world without having to travel by air, by boat, by land. We're in the digital age, and so we've been able to spread the gospel much more effectively than we have in the past.
So, Archbishop, we've gone from talking about people needing to go from traditional to more contemporary means. We've gone through the pandemic. We saw people transition absolutely from being in the building to being online, being digital, live streaming on social media. And now we're talking about effectively developing a whole nother kind of model called a hybrid ministry. What all does that entail for people who are wondering about this new hybrid word?
Well, I think that as we talked last month in part one, and I really encourage everybody to get part one of what we presented, even though as we go in part two, it will help us to really develop. It's just a goal of trying to see that we can do a combination of in person and online at the same time. It's not a question of either or. And I'm sharing with pastors now as they're getting the ability to go back into the physical church that you don't need to drop the digital church because both of these can coexist and we can go into both of these at the same time. Because keep in mind, with the digital age, Pastor, here's what we've learned. We're reaching a much larger audience than we ever had in the four walls in the physical church. There are a lot of people that's been content and satisfied with just being in the four walls and can't even imagine reaching the world through the digital means. So it's a new whole reality for people to understand that people are getting in touch with you in various parts of the world from all over the globe. And it's really amazing.
So Archbishop, what have you seen as don't give them too much, right? But what have you seen as some trends in terms of ministries that are doing it well? What are some things that people are doing that's working to pull together both a in-person and virtual congregation?
I think one of the tricks that's really working, Pastor, that we've seen is that people take the time to really do a quality product. They do a quality product, make a nice, precise presentation. It really works, and then you get your ideas of going out marketing, and that's where you come in with the digital age a little more, especially for me and others who need that technology and the piece to help make it work and look good. I think that's what becomes very important and structured to where we are.
Yes, sir. I noticed during the pandemic that pastors were becoming producers. All the pastors were now trying to figure out what's the best camera, what's the best lights, what's the best platform.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm hearing from pastors is, you know, coming back into the sanctuary, they're remembering the feedback that they have on Sunday mornings. They're remembering that the slides on the screens don't quite work the way they're supposed to, and they're like, how in the world can I get this thing to go well in a virtual space when I can't even get the in-person space right? What are some of the things that you're seeing that are helping people to bridge that gap?
I think that we have to shift the people who are helping us in the church. We've got to get more quality people. It is shift from a staff, almost from uh, a less spiritual and a less religious staff to a more technical staff. And I think that that's where we're going to, because we need the people both behind the camera and in front of the camera who know what they're doing and can be trained into a new reality, into what we're having. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about navigating a hybrid church. That's what we're going to be talking about. Where all of this goes, where the spirit interacts and how we gather, and what your real goal is. Is it really just to build an empire of in person people, or build a kingdom of people who are around the world that can tap into what you're doing, become a part of it? For me, it happens every day. All the media pieces that I'm going through, I'm getting responses. And I talk a lot to people on WhatsApp around the world. Um, Ministry partners that are building up, that are becoming a part of what we're doing, becoming global partners. I was one for about 20 years ago, used to almost travel nonstop globally, all around with planes here and there. These days, I'm around the world digitally every week.
Yeah, one of the things that a lot of people noticed about my productivity and production during the pandemic was, how the background was blurred out. I was always using some kind of light tones and stuff, and they were like, "How are you doing this?" And I really never share with people that I do this in the industry, in the film industry all the time, in production industry all the time. And all I did was apply to the church sector or to my presentation the same elements that I produce for everybody else. And so, now it's becoming more and more common for people to be asking about, what kind of lens are you using? What kind of lights
Mhm.
are you using? Are you using fog? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm giving more industry information out now than I am. Uh, what Bible do you prefer? Uh, what resources are you using?
Yeah.
So we still got to find a bit of a tone of balance. What I've noticed as well is that a lot of people aren't carrying Bibles. So the need to share the scriptures on the screen to keep people engaged, the need to reach out and say hello to the people who are on the other side of the camera, being able to relate to the people in the comments in the chat is necessary to keep your
Mhm.
online audience engaged. But you can't stare so much into the camera that the people in the room feel like you're not looking at them either. So developing a hybrid model is something that it's not for the faint at heart. It sort of takes being able to redevelop and embrace a new tone of ministry. It sort of causes you to have to present differently because the traditional charismatic hooping does not present as well over virtual space. And then if people are used to that and they see you, more of doing the more teaching and stuff like that you saw
Mhm.
during the faith based time periods and the word church ministries, it's really changing the way people approach ministry. But what I'm finding out is that people are digging a whole lot deeper. People
Yeah.
are giving a whole lot more substance in their messages. It
Mhm.
doesn't take a whole hour to actually get through your whole sermon. So I
Right.
think that the elevation or the evolution of us into more of a hybrid model is helping a lot of people. What have you found out when you're consulting with other churches?
Well, I found out a lot of things like you said we're going to cover in our presentation tomorrow night. And I think that one of the things that's so important to where we are with this is to look at, you're saying people are not carrying Bibles anymore, but we have mobile devices and tablets. And so that's where most of the audience is now. And so we don't have to worry about translations. Most Bible apps have multiple translations in it, so we can pull up multiple translations. It just seems a more interactive society. I grew up with my dad being on the radio. He was a bishop, and he would be talking to those in Radio Land. You know? And now we've got a worldwide digital audience where we're talking to people who are all over the world, not just in the perimeter where we were on the radio band and in that particular city, in that particular state. Now, there's no limit to where we are when we go. Of course, social media is here now, so there's no limit to where we are. If we could just grasp the fact that we're fulfilling the mandate that Jesus said, that we're going to take the commission into all the world. That's really what it's all about, getting the word out to all the world. not necessarily building a stage for ourselves to come into the church, but the church is taking the word outside of the church.
I'm excited about this session we're gonna do. This is gonna be our part 2 of this
Yeah.
series. Listen, it's the monthly training seminar of the Global Conference of Bishops and Leaders. This month's topic is effectively navigating a hybrid ministry. I get to teach alongside Archbishop D. Miles Golphin. He's the president of the Global Conference of Bishops and Leaders. Thursday night, February 23rd. That's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Listen, you want to go to let me put it on the screen. You want to go to www.globalcob.org to register. Go right now. Visit www.globalcob.org to register for tomorrow night's class, and they can also find the session from last week as well. What else will they find there on the website, Bishop?
Oh, they'll find a lot of information on the website. We got a listing of all of our seminars on there. You can go to the event page and you hit the button for the monthly webinars. It'll take you to the registration. You can register, join me and Pastor RJ on the conference tomorrow night. It's going to be very interactive. You can come on with us. You can share with questions and answers as we get through the presentation. We'll be having slides up so you can look at, and so it's going to be a great time of sharing.
Now, Archbishop, is this going to be pre-recorded or live?
Well, it's going to be live. We're going to be live, and if you register, you'll be able to watch the recording later. But we're going to be live tomorrow night, live. Pastor RJ and I'll be right there, and you can interact with us in the session. So we're looking forward to having you with us.
And the blessing about coming to the live session is you get to participate in the question and answers.
Yes.
You get to actually ask us questions during that class session. We'll be able to personalize our questions directly to what your desires and concerns are. So again, join us tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for this month's class on effectively navigating a hybrid ministry. Again, my name is RJ Stevenson, and I'm here with Archbishop D.M. Golphin, Dennis Miles Golphin, the international theologian. You don't want to miss tomorrow's night experience. Go again to www.globalcob.org to register. We look forward to seeing you there.